Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss about the IUPAC naming of organic compounds, in which we'll be going to discuss about the some rules which need to follow for writing the IUPAC naming for the organic compound which have no functional groups. So let us find out what are the rules for naming of organic compounds. First is the selection of longest chain in the molecule. First, what you have to do here, you have to select the longest chain in the molecule. So what are the different points which you need to consider for selecting the longest chain? That first is it should be the carbon chain, it should be continuous, and it is considered as the main chain or the parent chain or the root chain. So let us take one example of an organic compound. That is, this is the example of an organic compound. Now here we can find that here there is a carbon chain, and we have to select the longest chain, and the condition is that the carbon chain should be continuous. So let us find out which one is the longest chain. Here this one can be taken as one chain. Now when you count the number of carbon in this chain, that is it is already numbered here. So total 9 number of carbons are there in this chain. Now let us take what are the other possibilities are here. This can be also a chain possible. Now when you count the number of carbon in this chain, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 number of carbon in this chain. And any other possibilities are there? One more possibility also there. Just check here. That is the carbon chain. This is also possible. One condition is that whatever the chain you are selecting, it should be continuous chain of carbon. That means after one carbon, the other carbon should be connected. It should not be like at one end you are selecting the other one. So when you take this green part here, count the number of carbon in this. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is also 9. So here the longest chain is of a carbon number 9 chain. So either you can select this chain, that is a 9 number carbon chain which I made with a violet color, or either you can use the green color chain, carbon chain. But in both the cases, when you make the name, you will be getting the same name. So let us select which one is the longest chain here. That is the first chain we have selected, that is taken as the longest chain. So here our longest chain, this is the longest chain, better make it in the box. So when you are making the IUPAC naming for an organic compound, first you select the longest chain, and the condition should be that the chain should be of carbon and it should be continuous. That means one carbon after second, third, fourth, it should be continuous. Not necessary that it can be in any way. Either it can be in a zigzag way or any way. It should be continuous. Now this chain is considered to be the main chain of this organic compound, which can also be called as the parent chain, or it can also be called as the root chain. So this is our main chain. Now here we have already learned about substitutes. Now how we can select the substitute? Once you have selected the longest chain, the remaining portion, now you can see here in the main chain we have better made with a box. Now what is remaining which is not there with this within this, that is what the substitute. So here we can make the substitute. Just we can circle the substitute here, that is the methyl group is a substitute here, and one more substitute is here, that is a CH2CH3, that is C2H5 ethyl. So this is the main chain that you can see here. This one is the main chain and these two are the substitutes. So first is for naming, first you have to select the longest chain, and better count the number of carbons. It should be the longest one, and count in number and all that should have the maximum number, and keep the box for the main chain, and the rest of them will be circled. That shows the substitute here. Next is the numbering of carbon atoms of the main chain. Once we have identified the main chain, we have to number the carbon atoms in the main chain. As here one example is taken. So first point what we have to do here, whenever do the numbering you have to start from one end. Let here one example is given. So we have to start the numbering from any one end. That is from this end we can start. We should always start from one end. That is either this side or this side. But again there are some conditions for numbering that we'll just check. But whenever you start the numbering, always start with one end, one of the end. For example, in this case, the numbering is starting from this carbon, that is from the left hand side. So either you can start from this end or you can start from this end. But the conditions are there. If there will be a substitute, at that time we have to numbering in such a way that the substitute should get minimum number. That is the previous example what we have done it here, that is this example. In this example the numbering can be done from any side, either from this end or this end, because in both the cases you will be getting the same name. But if there is a substitute like this, in that case we have to start the numbering from the end from where the substitute get minimum number. So before doing that, let us make the box for the main chain, which is the main chain here. 9 carbon is chain is the main chain. So we'll make the box the main chain and just circle the substitute. Now from where we start the numbering here, because the two end when you select here, that is this end, you can start the numbering from either this end or this end. But if there is a substitute, you have to be numbered in such a way that the substitute should get minimum number. That is, if you count from here, if you start the numbering from here, on the second carbon the methyl group is present. That means methyl group is present on the second position. But if you are counting from this that is from RHS side, if this is the first carbon, this one is second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when you count in this way, that is from right hand side from right side end when you count it, what will be the number getting for the methyl group? That is 8. So both the end you just try it. So in which end the substitute is getting minimum number, that is the right way of numbering the chain. So here when you count it from left hand side, from the side, the position of methyl group, that is the second position. But from right hand side when you number it, the position for methyl group is the 8th position. So which is the minimum? That is 2. So the left hand side numbering, starting the numbering from left hand side is the suitable one for numbering. So that is the second rule, says that if we are starting the numbering and if there is a substitute, we have to always start the numbering from that side from where the substitute get minimum number. So that is the second point or the second rule which we have to follow while numbering. The next point let us discuss, that is, if more than one substitute are there, then the sum of their numbers should be minimum. In this case, let us mark the longest chain here. This is the longest chain. 9 carbon chain is the longest chain. Just mark the substitute. This one is the substitute and this one is also the substitute. Now, the two ways we can start numbering, either from left hand side or from right hand side. Here two substitutes are there. So if we are starting the numbering from left hand side, that is from this side, when we start the numbering, what is the position of methyl group? That is, this is a methyl group. So the position of methyl group, when we count from left hand side, that is the second position. And what is the position of ethyl group? This is ethyl group. The position is sixth position. That means we'll make the sum of the positions of the substitute. So what we get, the sum will get 8. So this we have to do only in such cases where we have more than one substitute. If more than one substitute are there, just make a trial from one end. Like we have tried from left side and we have numbered and we made the sum of the position of the substitutes. The two substitute, that is methyl is on the second position and ethyl is on the sixth position. So when we make the sum, we'll be getting 8. But if we number this on next side, that is from the right hand side, if we number, this is the first carbon, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8 and 9. So when we number this one, we'll be getting in this way. Now just make the sum of the positions of these groups, that is from right side. When we find out the position here, that is the ethyl group. Now it is on the fourth carbon that I made with violet. This is the ethyl position, ethyl substitute, that is on the fourth position. So that is 4 plus what is the position for methyl group? That is the 8th position. Make the sum, you will get 12. So which one is the minimum sum? That is 8 is the minimum sum. So that is the numbering of this compound should be done from left hand side. So that is what this rule says. If more than one substitute are there, like here methyl and ethyl are the two different substitute, so we have to number in such a way where their sum should get minimum. So this numbering which is already done here, that is the right way of numbering this carbon chain. Now next rule says that if the sum from the both the side, that is if the sum is same from both the end, then we have to follow the alphabetic order. That is, let us take this example. Let us make the main chain. This is the main chain and the number of substitute. Here two substitutes are there, methyl and chloro. These are the two substitute. In that case, when we number this one from left hand side, this is the left hand side. From left hand side, if we number, this is the first carbon, first, second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 carbon chain. So what is the position for the methyl group? That is 2. Position for chloro group, that is 8. So 2 plus 8, 10. In the same way, when you make the counting from the other side, so chloro will get the second position. That when you count it from right hand side, what will be the position for chloro group? That is this is on the second carbon. So 2 plus and this methyl will be on the 8th position. So the sum is equal to 10. That means if the two substitutes are there and if their sum is same from both the side, because when we have made the sum of the position from both the side, we are getting the same sum as here we are getting 10. In such case, what we need to do, we have to number in the way that the alphabetically order which substitute should come first, that should get minimum number. That means here two substitute are there, that is one is methyl, this is methyl, and this one chloro, that is C chloro. So alphabetic order, which one comes? M and C. When you compare alphabetically, C comes first. That means the chloro is the substitute which should get minimum number. So this is only you have to apply it where the sum is equal from both the side. When the sum get equal from both the side, you have to choose that number of that way of numbering where this substitute alphabetically order the substitute which comes first, that should get minimum number. That means here chloro is alphabetically order should come first, so the chloro should get the minimum number. So that is which is the right way of numbering? That is the left hand side, because from right hand side, because from right hand side the first carbon is this and the second carbon we have chloro group. So that is the right way of numbering. So which one is the right way of numbering for this organic compound? That is from right hand side, because from right hand side chloro group is getting the second position and the methyl group is getting the 8th position. So this is the right way of numbering where the two different substitute and the sum from both the end is same. So we have to choose that way of numbering where the alphabetically ordered the group which comes first, it should get minimum number to that group. So that is this rule says. So these are the rules which you need to follow for numbering of carbon atoms of the main chain. Next is the order for writing the IUPAC name. What is the order of writing the IUPAC name? We have to follow a formula, that is prefix plus word root plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. Now let us see what is this prefix. Prefix means before a word root the word comes, that is prefix. So prefix is actually representing the substitute group. Like if methyl is the substitute group, so what we use the word as prefix, the methyl. If chloro is the substitute, then we have to use the word chloro. So prefix is actually representing the substitute group, and always while writing the name, first we have to write the name of the substitute group. Next we have to write the word root. Word root, that is actually representing the number of carbon atom in the main chain. So next, after writing the name of the substitute, we have to write the word root. And word root, as we have already learned, word root is representing the number of carbon atom in the main chain. That is for first carbon, if there is one carbon, we use the word root meth. Next, eth, prop, pent, prop, but, pent, and so on. So that we have to represent second. That is after naming the substitute, we have to name the word root. Next is primary suffix. Primary suffix represent the nature of linkage between the carbon atoms. That means if in the main chain the carbon atoms are there is a single bond between them, then we have to use suffix as ane, ane, like alkane. In the word alkane, we are using the suffix ane. So we have to use the suffix ane. If there is a double bond between the carbon, we have to use the suffix ene. Ene, like in alkene. In alkene, what we write? The suffix ene. Next, if there is a triple bond between the carbon in the main chain, at the time we have to use the suffix yne. So it is very important to note here. These are the suffix we are writing, and this suffix is actually primary suffix which represent the linkage between the, it is the nature of linkage between the carbon atoms. If single linkage, that means all the carbon atom in the main chain is singly bonded, then we have to use the suffix ane. If there is any double bond, then it is ene, and if it is there is a triple bond, then we have to use the suffix as yne, that is ine. In the case of alkyne, we have a yne. So these are actually the primary suffix. Next term is the secondary suffix. Secondary suffix represent the functional group. That is a functional group like we have alcoholic group is a functional group, aldehyde group, ketonic group, and even we have acid group COH. So all these functional group, their suffix are used for representing that molecule, and that is actually will be using some suffix. Now let us see what are the suffix which will be using. That will be discussing much more when we discuss the writing rules of writing the IUPAC name having the functional group. So that name will be discussed later on. Now this is the correct way of, this is like a formula for writing the IUPAC name. That is, first you have to write prefix, which is actually the name of the substitute group. Then the word root, that is the number of carbon atoms in the main chain. That name we have to write in the word root. Then primary suffix, that is actually representing the linkage between the carbon atom in the main chain. And secondary suffix, that is the suffix used for mentioning the functional group. Now let us take one example. In this example, we have to follow the method whatever we have discussed. That is, first what you have to do, you have to select the longest chain. Now let us see what are the possibility of selecting the longest chain. The conditions that longest chain, the carbon chain, and it should be continuous. Like this is one possibility of the carbon chain. Let us count the number of carbon in this chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So better all of you make the use of pencil, make the boxes in this way, and just do a trial method. So first select any one of the chain, count the number and keep it at the rough side. You can write it. Here the number of carbon atom in this chain, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you select this, you will be getting number 5. Next, any other possibilities are there? Yes, I can find one more possibility here. That is this. This can also be one possibility. So count the number of carbon here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this case also we are getting the number 5. So we will be getting the same result. So which one we can select here? Better we can select this as a main chain. Now here we have to number it. Now from numbering, I told you we have to follow the rule. We have to start from one end, either from left side, that is from left side, or from right side. But when you select from left side, what will be the position of the substitute here? That is, this one is a substitute, methyl group is a substitute. The position of the substitute will be second, because this is the first carbon, second carbon, third, 4, 5. So this is the position, second position you will be getting. But when you count it from right side, what will be the number you will be getting for methyl group? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So that will be greater. But from the left side, you will be getting number 2. So which is the right way of numbering? Either left or right. So the minimum number is from left side. So the number 2. That's why this is the right way. The left side counting is the right way. So this is the right way of numbering. Now next, how to name this one? First of all, we have to follow the formula prefix. What is prefix? It representing the substitute. So which one is the substitute here? That is, this one is the main chain. So let me make once again here. This one is the main chain. And here there is one substitute also. This is the main chain, and this one is the substitute. Next, what we need to do? We have to name it. So after selecting the main chain, number it and make the boxes for the main chain, make the circle for the substitute. Now we'll be writing the name. Now for writing the name, first we have to name the prefix. Prefix means the substitute group. So which one is the substitute group here? Methyl. So first we have to name methyl, and the position of the substitute should be mentioned. So what is the position of the substitute? It is on the second carbon. So 2 line 1 dash you have to write, after number you have to write dash. So what it shows, on second position there is methyl group. Next, what is word root? What is the word root here? Because total 5 carbons are there in this. So the word root is pent. Word root is pent because 5 number of carbon atoms are there in this main chain. That is in the main chain, not the total number of carbon. In the main chain 5 carbons are there, therefore the word root pent. Next, primary suffix. Primary suffix representing the linkage between the carbon chain. Here when you see here, all the carbon are bonded by single bond. So when there is a single bond, we have to use the suffix ane. So what is the name for this one? 2-methyl pentane. So let us write the name properly for this one. That is 2-methyl pentane. So this is the right way of making the IUPAC name for the organic compound. If there is one more substitute group in this way. So how we name this one? So select the longest chain. So this is the longest chain. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon. And the other way when you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In all the ways you will be getting 5 only. So which one is the longest chain? This is the longest chain. And when you number it from left side, when you number it, what will be the position getting for substitute? That is 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from right side also when you count it, you will be getting the same position. That is this methyl group is getting the second position and this is getting the fourth position. So when you count it, the sum from both the side, it is same. That is from left side 2 plus 4 is equal to 6, and from right side when you count it, this is the second position, this one is the fourth position. Again 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. So in both the way you will be getting the same sum. So you can use any way, and because here both are the same substitute methyl group, in that case we can use no need of any alphabetic order because both are same. So in that case you can choose any way of numbering either from left side or from right side. In both the way you will be getting the same name. Now here let us name this one. So the numbering is done in this way. This is the correct numbering. Now when you count the position of methyl group, that is on the second position, the other methyl group is on the fourth position. So here two substitutes are there and both are the same substitute. So how we name this one? This is methyl, this one is also methyl. But here two methyls are there. So instead of writing methyl 2 times, what we'll write? We'll write dimethyl. We write dimethyl. But it is necessary to mention the position. So one methyl group is on the second carbon and the other one is on the fourth carbon. So 2, 4, next dash. Always after writing a number, when you are writing any alphabet, keep a dash between them. So 2, 4 dash dimethyl. Next we'll name the word root. What is the word root here? 5 carbon are there in the main chain. Which one is the main chain? That is, our main chain is this one. Better make it in the box, main chain, and these two are the substitutes. So here, what is the word root? Word root, 5 carbon there in the main chain. So word root is pent. And next we have to name primary suffix. Primary suffix, all carbon are single, therefore we use the suffix ane. So we can write the name for this one, that is 2,4-dimethyl pentane. So here once you look at the formula, we are writing on the basis of formula. That is first prefix, that is we have written prefix dimethyl, because here substitutes are methyl and two same substitute are there, therefore we have used the word di, and the position of substitute should be mentioned in numbers as is shown here. Next we are writing the name of the word root, that is pent is the word root. Next we have to write the primary suffix, and primary suffix here, all the bond between the carbon are single, therefore the primary suffix is ane. Secondary suffix will be using only in the case where there is a primary functional group. So that will be discussing the examples in the next video. Now let us practice some of the problems for naming the organic compound. Now let us do this problem. Answer is already given here. So let us check how we got this answer. First of all, select the longest chain, as the already one numbering is given here. So this chain, when you count here, total 7 electrons are there. Check any other possibility, whether the longest chain, any other possibilities or not. That is this one. When you count the number of number of carbon in this, it is again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you count it here, it is also 7. So the longest chain possible one here, it is 7. So let us take this itself as a main chain, that is this one as a main chain. Once you have selected the main chain, now find out which one is not included in the main chain. That should be taken as a substitutes here. So this one is a substitute, that is a methyl group. Here is also one substitute and one more substitute is here. I am making the use of different color so that it will be clear to you. So always try to make the box for writing the main carbon chain and for making circle for the substitute, so that it will be very clear to you which one is substitute and which one is the main chain. Now here first we have to name the substitutes, that is the prefix of the naming, that is the naming of substitute. Here 3 substitutes are there, that is this is a methyl group, this one is a methyl and this one is ethyl. So 3 substitutes are there, 2 methyl and 1 ethyl. So how we number this one? Either we have to start from left side or we have to right side. But when substitutes are there, take the position in such a way that they get minimum number. So when we number here from left side, so you can count here second, third position. On third position ethyl group is there, and on the fourth position 2 methyl groups are there. So when you make the sum of this one, that will be minimum. But when you count it, when you number it from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you count in this way, that is from the right side. So what will be the position? That is 2 methyl group will be on the 4th position and 1 ethyl will be on the 5th position. So when you make the sum of this one, it will be greater. So which one is the right way of numbering? That is from the left side. So that is what it is already numbered here. So this is the correct numbering. So first we have selected the longest chain, then we have done the numbering, and numbering should be done in such a way that the substitutes get minimum number. And if more than one substitute are there, the sum of their numbering position should be minimum. So that is the left side is a perfect way of numbering here. Now next we will be naming here. Naming, first we have to name the prefix. Prefix means substitutes. We are representing the substitute. Now if more than one substitute and if different substitutes are there, so while writing the name of the substitute, we have to follow the alphabetic order. That is also one of the rule. Note it down. If different substitutes are there, it should be named in such a way that the alphabetic order, which one comes first, that should be written first. So here we have the substitute, that is ethyl is the substitute, and here methyl, and here the methyl is the substitute, and what we have here, we have the main chain here. So the ethyl group, that is alphabetically, what is the alphabet? E alphabet, ethyl E alphabet, and for methyl alphabet M. So which comes first alphabetic order? E comes first. Therefore we need to write first ethyl, then only methyl. Now what is the position of ethyl group? That is third, it is on the third carbon. You can check here, this one is on the third carbon. So we have to write 3-ethyl. Always when you are writing a number and between the any alphabet there should be a dash sign. Next again dash. Next, what is the position for ethyl? This is methyl group. Position for methyl group starting from M, but 2 methyls are there. Therefore, we are using di word here, dimethyl. Why it is dimethyl? Because 2 methyl groups are there and their position is both is on the 4th carbon. You can check here, both are attached on the 4th carbon. Therefore, 4,4. It's very important. 2 methyl groups are there. Both are on the 4th position. Therefore, 4,4. That means you need to represent the position of both methyl group. 4, 4. Then dimethyl. Next, what is the word root here? Because total 7 number of carbons are here in the main chain. Which is the main chain? Which I made the box, that is the main chain. So in the 7 number of carbons are there, carbon chain, that's why the word root is hept. And the suffix, that is the primary suffix here, because you can check here in the main chain there is a single bond between the carbon-carbon. That's why the primary suffix is ane. Ane is used as a primary suffix where all the carbon atoms in the main chain are linked by a single bond. So the name for this one comes as 3-ethyl 4,4-dimethyl heptane. So follow all the rules together for making the naming of an organic compound. Next we'll try one more example. These all examples are given in the textbook. So follow the textbook also. Here in this the main chain, it is very easily you can find out the main chain because this is the main chain. 10 carbon chain is the main chain. And here 2 substitutes are there. Better make in the separate box. These are the 2 main substitute. Now here word root is actually 10 carbon. That's why word root is dec and all are single bonded. That's why the suffix we are using here ane. That is primary suffix. So decane word we are using here. But what about the substitute here? The 2 substitutes are there and this substitute, that is this one is actually the substitute which is called as isopropyl, because the substitutes listed already I have listed. So this one is actually isopropyl. And one more substitute we have this one. This one is actually secondary butyl. When you check already it is listed some special type of substitute alkyl group secondary butyl. So here the position of secondary butyl, it is on the 5th carbon and the isopropyl it is on the 4th carbon. So how we number this one? Because when you check this formula here, this is from here when you do the numbering, the substitute will be closer because it will be far from when you count from this side. That is from right side when you count it, substitute will be farer. So this one will be that is from counting, or the numbering should be done from left side. So here this group, that is a isopropyl group, and secondary butyl B, starting from B, and this propyl P. So what is actually alphabetically ordered comes first, that is butyl. So we name this one first. We'll be naming for butyl, that is position is 5th carbon. It is on the 5th carbon. So 5 secondary butyl, 4 isopropyl. 4 isopropyl, and the word root is dec here, and the secondary suffix is ane. So the name of this one is 5 secondary butyl, 4 isopropyl decane. Next we will take one cyclic compound. Cyclic compound, in this there is no doubt about the main chain, because the ring itself is taken as a main chain. Now when you count the number of carbon atom here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon atoms are there. So what will be the word root? Word root will be pent. And you can check here, it is a bond line structure. Here all these are single bonded. That means carbon-carbon bonds are single. So we'll be writing pentane. But if I am writing a pentane, it shows that it is a straight chain. But it is a cyclic compound, so we have to use the prefix here, cyclo. So what is the name for this one? It is cyclopentane. If you am writing the pentane, it shows that all the carbon atoms, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon atoms in one chain. But it is in the ring form, therefore we have to use the word cyclo. So cyclopentane. Cyclopentane is the name for this one. So that is what cyclopentane. Next, if there is in the cyclopentane, if there is one linkage here, so what it shows here, as I told you, each tip and corners are carbon if it is not represented. So definitely this one will be a carbon. And when you check the valency here, one bond is already there for this carbon. So 3 more bonds, that means it shows that there is 3 hydrogen. So here it should be CH2 here. This one will be CH2, this one will be CH2, and this one will be CH2. This is the condensed formula for this compound. Now how we write the IUPAC name for this one? It is a cyclic compound, therefore cyclopentane, because in the main chain, this is the main chain, 5 carbon is the main chain, that ring is the main chain. But here there is one substitute, that is a methyl group. Now what will be give the numbering here? Because there is no particular end in the cycle, or in the ring structure there is no end. So we have to start from any one of the carbon. But when there is a substitute, that carbon should be taken as one carbon. So once again, this is a new rule I am saying. In the cyclic compound, if there is a substitute, if there is a single substitute, start the numbering from that carbon on which the substitute is attached. So this carbon will be the first carbon. Next, this one will be the second. This one will be third, 4, 5. You can go either in the clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now how we name this one? Because there is one substitute here, and which one is the substitute here? That is methyl group is the substitute, and the 5 carbon ring is the main chain. So the name will come. The main chain will be named as, because it is cyclic, therefore will named as a cyclopentane. Why it is pentane? Because 5 carbons are there in the cycle, and there is one substitute here that should be named as the name methyl, and it is on the first carbon. So if you want, you can write 1-methyl cyclopentane, or in such cases one number is not necessary to mention, especially if there is only one substitute. So the name for this one is methyl cyclopentane. This is the name for this one. Next compound. Now this is also in the form of bond line. We have to write what is actually here. It's a cyclic and which having a substitute here, that is methyl group is a substitute. Here 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon substitute, that means what should be this one be CH2, CH2, CH3. So this together called as propyl group, because 3 carbon alkyl group, that is propyl, and this is methyl. So we have 2 substitutes here. So how we number this one? As I told you, when substitutes are there, we have to start numbering from that carbon on which the substitute is attached. But here 2 substitutes are there. So definitely the confusion comes here, from which carbon we have to start the numbering. So in that case, we have to follow the alphabetic order. Methyl, that is starting from M, propyl start from P. So alphabetic order, after M, methyl, then only P comes alphabetic order. So we have to give first carbon to this carbon, that is the methyl group is attached to, that carbon is taken as first carbon. So this is one more rule I am adding here. So in a cyclic compound, if there are 2 substitutes, then the numbering should be done on the basis of alphabetic order. Which comes first, that should be given the minimum number. So the numbering should be in this way: 1, 2, 3. And what about this one? This one will be the 4th carbon. This is 5th, 6th. So 6 carbon ring with 2 substitute, that is methyl, and this whole together is called as propyl group. So how we name this one? And one more thing is here, because once this is numbered as 1, so we have to go in this order. That is, it should be moved, it should be numbered in the clockwise, not in the anti-clock. It should not be now done in the anti-clockwise, because when you count in the clockwise direction, what will be the number getting to the substitute? The substitute, that is the 3rd number. But if we go in the anti-clockwise direction, at the time this one will be the 2nd, because after first this one will be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5. Then this one is 6. So 5th position is getting for the propyl group. So it should not be done in this way. It should be done in that way where the substitute get minimum number. So what is the right way of numbering? That is, after 1, this is the clockwise should be done the numbering. So this one is the 3rd. So the propyl group is on the 3rd carbon and the methyl group is on the 1st carbon. So propyl and methyl are the substitutes. Therefore, we have to take this in the prefix area. And the alphabetic order, methyls come first. So first we have to write methyl. And what is the number? It is on the 1st carbon. Next what we have, next substitute is propyl. And propyl, it is on the 3rd carbon. So 3-3 propyl. And after this, now this is part is the prefix part. Now let's come for the word root. Word root, that is the number of carbon in the main chain. So here the main chain is 6 carbon. So word root is actually hex, but it is a cyclic, so therefore it comes cyclohexane, and all the carbon-carbon bond are single, therefore it is cyclohexane. So the name of this compound is 1-methyl 3-propyl cyclohexane, and here the alphabetic order of numbering is done because it is a cyclic compound, and after 1 the 2nd position should be this one, 3rd position should be done. And alphabetic order, why? Because methyl alphabetically comes first, M comes first, therefore it should be given 1. So this is one more rule I am adding here. Next we'll take some examples like if there is a double bond, you can see in this compound there is a double bond. So in that case, even though the other carbon form the greater longest chain, but still we have to include the double bond, that is the multiple bond should be included. It should be included in the main chain. That means we have to take the double bond carbon in the main chain. So here when we check this way of selecting the longest chain, and when you check this way, because in this way when you do here 1 2 3 4 5 6 carbon, and in this way 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So here is the greater number of carbon in the, if we select the main chain, this one as it is given in the box, but here the double bonded carbon is not involved in the chain. So this is not the right way of selecting the main chain. This is the right way of selecting the main chain, because if there is a multiple bond, then that should be involved in the main chain. We cannot avoid that multiple bond as it is given here. That is, this one is the correct way of selecting the longest chain when there is a multiple bond. So this is the wrong way of selecting the chain. So how we name this one? Now let us discuss this one. How we name such compound in which there is a multiple bond like double bond. So in this case, we have to give preference to the double bond because there is no functional group here. In such a case, we have to give preference to the double bond. So always start the numbering from that side where the multiple bond get a minimum number. That's very important point. I'm adding one more point in this rules. If there is a multiple bond in the main chain, at that time the numbering should be done from where it get minimum number. So that means this carbon should be the first carbon, this one will be second, third, 4, 5 and 6th. But when we are numbering from this direction, that is if we are numbering from here 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now in this case the double bond is getting, when from right side when we count it, the double bond are getting 5 6 position, but when we are doing from left hand side, the position of double bond is between 1 and 2 carbon. So which one is the right way? Which I have written with the red, that is from the left. That is the way to, that is the correct way to number. That is, while numbering we have to give preference to the double bond. So when we are giving a preference, that means it should get minimum number. So here there is no confusion. This is the first carbon, this one is second, this one is third, 4, 5, 6. And because the main chain we have already made in the box, so let us make the substitute in the box. That means this one is the substitute, the CH2 CH3 is a substitute, that is actually ethyl group. That is ethyl group. Now how we name this one? Because ethyl group is a substitute, so we have to name this first. That is, it is on the second carbon. You can check, this one is linked to the second carbon, so it is 2-ethyl, and we have to keep the dash between the numerical number and with the alphabet. Between there should be a dash. Then only one substitute is there, that is ethyl. Now here what is the word root? Because the total 6 carbon are there in the main chain, so word root it hex. And what about the primary suffix? Here the bonding, when you check here, there is a multiple bond, that is a double bond between the first and second carbon. So we can write hex 1-ene. We can write hex 1-ene. As I told you, one number is not necessary to mention, so we can write in short 2-methyl-hexene, or we can write 2-methyl-hex-1-ene. It is necessary to mention the position of double bond also. For example, if the double bond is instead of here, if the double bond is here, so what will be the name? Because this is a substitute that is on the second carbon, this one is the first, this is third, 4, 5, 6. So what will be the name in that case? If double bond is between the second and third carbon, the name of this compound will be 2-ethyl hex-2-ene. Hex-2-ene, because double bond is between second and third carbon, therefore we have to name it as hex-2-ene. So that is what the difference between hex-2-ene and hex-1-ene. The next, this carbon. Here, which one is the longest chain? That you have to select which one is the longest chain, because there are many possibilities here. Like this is one possibility. In this, how many number of carbons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons are there. That is 6 carbon. Next possibility. What is the next possibility? That this one. Like this we can. This is also one possibility. So how many number of carbon are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we are getting 8 number of carbon, and you can see all the carbon are in a continuous way, that is in the connected way. So this is the right way of selecting the correct chain, that is these carbon, and here just make the box to show this is the main chain. So this example I have taken in order to show that even though it is in the zigzag manner, but all the carbons are in the main chain. That means all carbons are connected, they are in chain form. So you can identify which one is a substitute here, which can be the substitute. That is this group which is out of the box, that is the substitute. One more substitute is here, that is this one is the another substitute. This is methyl, this one is ethyl. Now when you count the position, when we count from here, third position will be, that is the third position is for methyl. And what about this one? That is CH2, CH3, that is the ethyl group. Ethyl group is on the 5th carbon, so 5 ethyl. So 3 methyl and 5 ethyl. So when you make the sum, it is 8. So you can if you want, you can try from the lower side. So definitely the max number will be, sum will be more. So this is the right way of counting. So how you name this one? Now how we name this one? This is methyl, this one is ethyl. What is the position for this one? That is 3 methyl and this is 5 ethyl, and total number of carbon is here 8. So octane. So what is the name for this one? That is 3 methyl. That is 3 methyl and 5 ethyl, but alphabetic order E comes first, so you have to write first ethyl. So what is the correct name? 5 ethyl 3 methyl octane. That is the correct name. Now we can try some more text exercises. In text questions are there. So let us try this questions which is given in the textbook. Here, which one is the main chain? This is the main chain. So which one will be the substitute? These are the substitute. So better follow the method which I told you. Make the box with the help of pencil for the main chain and make the circle for the substitute. So from where we start the counting? Definitely the counting will be start from here, because the groups are closer from this carbon. So we'll be starting from counting here. This one will be 2, this one will 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total 8 carbon are there in the main chain. And what is the position of substitute? That is, it is on the second position. One we have in the 5th position and one more methyl group in the 6th position. So 2, 5, 6 trimethyl. We use the word trimethyl because all are methyl. So trimethyl, and because the word root is oct here, because 8 carbon are there in the main chain. And what about the linkage? Look at here in the main chain, all carbon atoms are singly bonded. So the suffix we are using, primary suffix, that is ane. So what is the name for this one? That is 2,5,6 trimethyl octane. So this is what given one example in the textbook. When we look at this one, in this case, which one is the main chain? Select the main chain. This is the main chain, and this one is the substitute, and this one is also the substitute. So from where we start the numbering? 1, 2, 3. From when we start from here, third number is getting for ethyl. And when we start from this side, 1, 2, 3. 3 number is getting for methyl. So as I told you, two different substitutes are there. And when we do the numbering from both the side, we are getting the same sum. Here because we get the same sum, therefore alphabetic order which comes first, that should get minimum number. So here ethyl is there, methyl is there. So E comes first alphabetically, E comes first, therefore we have to give minimum number to the ethyl group. That means counting should be from the side, 1, 2, this one will be third, fourth here, fifth this one, 6, 7. So one substitute is on the third position and one substitute on the fifth position. So how we name this one? That is 3-ethyl, 5-methyl, and the number of carbon in this chain is, when you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is heptane. So 3-ethyl, 5-methyl heptane. So all of you practice well the different examples. In the next video, we'll be discussing about some examples of organic compound in which functional groups are there. So the rules again get changes when there is a functional group. So this is all about this video. Have a nice day.